Great to see you.
Thanks a lot, Zoom.
OK, here's your clicker.
Right, Schrodinger's clicker. Right, would you like me to stand on both sides of the stage at the same time? OK, I'll be done. OK, are you paying attention? Right, good afternoon, everybody. I'll try and make this as entertaining as possible, which is unusual for my company. Right, also first off, we have a lovely full display area around the corner. Please go see it. So some of the things I'll talk about, the visualization, some of the tools we're doing, you can get a full demo with some of our experts around the corner. So that's the good news. The bad news, you've got 10 minutes of me. So, sorry. So, and that's our lovely tower, which decorates the London skyline. So, threats. So, I like history. So I'm going to talk a little bit about history of AI and how that relates to security. So I think we can go back to 1927. I wasn't around then, but nearly. Fritz Lang's Metropolis, fabulous film. If you haven't seen it, get it. And it's the usual negative AI story. Robot goes mad, starts killing people. Asimov's iRobot. I should say my PhD was in robotics. I spent years building these autonomous machines, and they did try to kill me. So watch out. HAL's Space Odyssey. HAL is important. I think HAL's got a sort of twist in the story, and really it's about, in terms of the ethics, people lied to HAL. Yeah? HAL was a good character, but human beings warped what HAL was thinking and doing. Problem. Terminator I'll ignore because it's irrelevant. I like this picture. So going back to the 1940s, the very beginning, the very genesis of computing, the Turing, the Bletchley Park work, it was about security. We started building big computers, great, real computers, first time to solve encryption problems, to break encryption. Okay? So the very beginning of what we think of as modern computing and machine learning was woven together with the whole issue of information security. I think that's really important. A second, sort of a little historical aside to that is the good guys, the heroes of that era, Turing and von Neumann, were also kind of responsible for making life really difficult for cybersecurity people today, because they both had a sideline interest, which was, in Turing's case, morphogenesis, and in von Neumann's case, self-replication. So some of the later research papers set the seeds for how you build self-replicating software, self-replicating code. And in 1988, the first Morris worm appears, and we get into a state where software replicates. And it's that ability of code to replicate that really causes the complexity and the global scale issues that we have in the whole cybersecurity domain. So they think of this as a modern problem, but the genesis, the very beginning of it was sown decades earlier, which I find fascinating. I'll try and make my talk a little bit more positive than Dave's, so you go with a nice, happy feeling. Okay? I should declare I was actually following Dave at the coffee shop. That was me. AI as catalyst. Why is this building packed? Well, because we all understand AI is catalytic. It's a transformative technology. And every time in history, go back in history again, we've had one of these: gunpowder, printing press, steam engines, vacuum tubes, computers themselves. They all revolutionized security. The first thing human beings did with this kind of technology will apply it to security. That's the first thing we do with it, for various reasons. The story we're trying to do in our team, so basically I manage a research team at BT Labs. For many years now, we've been looking at the whole applying machine learning to cybersecurity. BT's been using machine learning for a long time. Increasingly now we're looking at sort of broadening that and looking at how we apply AI as well. I like to distinguish those two areas. It's not good to mix them up. But very much we're about augmenting the human capability. So we have our own global security operations centers that run 24/7 on a global basis. We manage massive networks. And to keep everything safe and running, you can never hire enough security analysts. Even if we had a factory and we cloned them on a daily basis, you couldn't have enough security analysts. Yeah? So we've got to use machine learning to amplify those people's capability. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to build tools that augment, that lift up the capacity of the human beings in the system. Okay? Because the scale and volume of the attacks taking place is just too large. I don't see any change to that in the future, as Dave was saying. However, I think if we carefully apply machine learning, and in the future AI, we can try and keep one step ahead. Okay? And most importantly, utilize the contextual awareness and the business knowledge of the human beings in the system. So if you go around to the demo area, you can see this running live, chat to the guys using it, explore it in detail. So what the philosophy we took was sort of about 10 years ago when we started this research program, was pretty much 99.999% of the planet is going to be hacked, yes? Even if you've got them, spend the most money in the world, at some point in time you will be hacked. The problem is how fast can you recover? How fast can you detect it and respond to it? That's the key, yeah? So it's like every single human being in this room is currently infected. You're all carrying viruses, pathogens in your bodies, yeah? So thank you. But you're not dead yet, are you? Well, most of you look alive. So you're generally okay, yeah? Because your body's got an immune system and you're constantly fighting those pathogens. And what you care about is how fast can you detect when you start to become less well. So when your temperature starts to go up, when you detect the symptoms that are telling you something's not quite right, the virus is getting in your hand, let's do something about it. So this tool is a visualization suite, we call it Saturn. In this case, it's about aggregating all the information we can take from our security operations centers, so whether it's firewall, net flow data, intelligence data, open source data, and aggregating that and using the machine learning to automatically classify that data. So it automatically geocodes it, sticks it on the map for you, looks at the trends, the frequency of events taking place, automatically clusters it, classifies it, builds a taxonomy. And then so the analyst, instead of looking at raw data, is looking at a very high-level tool that's telling him what the weather is like today and what the state of play is. Yeah? It's kind of like a weather report, if you like. So then the guy has got some chance during that shift to actually focus on the most important parts. He knows what he should be looking at, what he can ignore, what is worth spending some time on. Are you all happy still? Yeah? Yeah? I'll fix it, don't worry. Another area we started looking at was last year after the WannaCry attacks on the health service. Some of the teams started playing with Bitcoin data, so in relation to could we identify the wallets, the malicious wallets, and the activity around those. And then we're using the machine learning tools again to filter the raw data, extract the wallets of interest, and then look at the activity over time in those wallets. You can go see a nice full animation and video of that stuff around the corner. So have a look at that. It's really interesting, worthwhile. The reason we're doing that is we started a new research program in collaboration with Oxford University a couple of years ago, looking at the whole area of graph analytics, applying machine learning to large-scale graph analysis, just as a generic way of abstracting the problem, abstracting the kind of data sets we were working with and taking it to a higher level. This is another nice infographic of extracting the sort of wallets of interest and the kind of activity taking place. I also like pretty pictures. So years ago, our team was called the screensaver group in the labs. It wasn't fair. Oh, the worst term was we were called the craning group. Right. Here's another nice picture. Oh, go ah. Okay, it's a nice doggy. Hands up if you have a dog. Good. Hands up if you control your dog. Yeah? I throw this picture in for a couple of reasons. One is, I think as human beings, we worry about the whole ethics and AI taking over, et cetera, et cetera. We've been living with different kinds of intelligence for thousands of years. We have this wonderful symbiotic relationship with dogs, horses, other intelligent creatures. So, and we have policy and regulations around dogs and their behavior and what you can do with dogs. And they're a highly valued member of society. Yeah? But we don't fully control them. Yeah? So we've dealt with this problem before. We've been here before. And I think, on a positive note, we can do it again with synthetic intelligences that are probably going to go up through an evolutionary curve of bird-level intelligence, dog to primate, and eventually student. Yeah. So I think that's important. Yeah, that we have done this before. We can handle it. But on the other hand, like the robotic problem, there are dangers, there are risks in doing this. And ultimately, I don't think in the next 3-5 year period, but in certainly 10, 15 year period, as you turn up the issue is autonomy. As you turn up the autonomy dial, then you get into the issue of there are too many conflicting goals, like Hal. Hal went mad because he had conflicting goals. So if you've given the poor creature too many conflicting goals, the autonomous car, choosing where to go and killing pedestrians and not is an example. We're going to have to understand it's part of the process. It's part of the package. And we talk about trying to filter that out, but it's a package deal. Right. Aware of time. Coming on to my summary. Again, nice hard red light. So definitely, as Dave was saying, AI is reshaping the cybersecurity landscape. I don't see yet really that the bad guys are using AI as such. They are using machine learning, definitely using analysis at that level, trying to profile organizations. Again, it depends what level you're talking about. Are you talking about state actor, criminal group, or amateur? This is critical. There's definitely an arms race is in progress, and that's going to accelerate. I mean, like our group is now going from machine learning to full AI. We look at full deep learning, modeling, agent-based models, sort of next generation thinking about how to get ahead. And that's going to just accelerate. The positive side benefit, it will stimulate the whole AI community. It will stimulate growth in the AI research domain. That's a net positive. Hopefully, we can keep one step ahead of the bad guys. But definitely, we want to augment the human capacity. We're keeping the people in the loop. There was a reference yesterday to Joshua and the war games problem. So hands up if you remember Joshua. Yeah? Old people. Okay. But that's important. You know, and also, I used to run a workshop at the Santa Fe Institute a few years ago where we looked at the whole immune system, computer immunology, biological complex systems approach to this. If you do it, so the first question I usually get is, well, let's take the person, will it go faster if I take the person out of the loop and have an automatic response? So the AI detects an attack's taking place and it instantly responds in milliseconds. Yes, you could do that, yeah? But don't, because then the first thing the bad guys will do is create an autoimmune disease where they deliberately trigger your response, yeah? Because then you're into a really bad situation. And as we know in the biological context, autoimmune diseases are really hard to deal with. Yeah? So immediately the bad guys will figure out that's what you're doing, will deliberately stimulate the response. So keeping people in the loop, even if you had the really advanced AI, is still a good idea. Okay? Right, thank you very much. So please go after the session as well. Come talk to me, obviously, because that's more interesting. And then go see the videos and the nice demos and stuff around the corner.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it.